Sociology, Chapter 4, Change and Development in Rural Society, and the main emphasis is on Green Revolution. Green Revolution was a series of steps taken by the government in 1965 to 70. 60s and 70 had a drastic change in the productivity. India, which was starving, India was very poor as far as food grains was concerned. India has to import food from outside, and it was a matter of shame for us that we were not producing grains for self-sufficiency. So, 1965, a series of steps were taken by the government, and the steps were, pehla, increase of irrigation facility, secondly, technology, high technology, agriculture technology, tractor, thrasher, harvester, other thing, fertilizers, pesticides, and high yielding variety of seeds. High yielding variety of fruit, high yielding variety of seeds. So these steps were taken by the government of India. As far as wheat was concerned, normal Borlock, a new high yielding variety HY these seeds. Normal Borlaug was a man who invested. He was responsible for inventing high yielding variety of seeds of wheat, and which revolutionized, which made a revolution in the whole world, especially in South America, Asia. Europe was already developed as far as food production is concerned. America, Canada was also already developed. Condition of India was very bad. So these steps were taken, and first of all, the irrigated areas which were developed, they benefited, like Punjab, Haryana, coastal Andhra Pradesh, parts of Tamil Nadu, some areas of Maharashtra and Gujarat. They experienced first phase of revolution. In these areas, the per capita yield made a drastic improvement, and the consequences were that India became self-sufficient in food. Now, the areas which were not irrigated, not underdeveloped, like Western UP also benefited, like Eastern UP, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Orissa, and other areas remained, did not benefit from Green Revolution. Now, the production increased, India became self-sufficient. Instead of importing, India started exporting grains outside, and bumper crops. Farmers became very rich. Now, there were social consequences of Green Revolution. First time India started exporting grains, rice and wheat surplus. It was a great achievement for government, but also for Indian scientists who created seeds. Employment opportunity increased. Demand for agricultural labor went up. Disadvantage: increased inequality in rural areas. Only rich landlords who could afford the HY seed, fertilizer, pesticide, and agriculture technology benefited. Lower class agriculture substance did not have resources to produce surplus to sell in market for profit. Land taken away from tenants by landowners as they wanted to make extra profit rather than paying them. This was the displacement of tenants. Displacement, displacement of service class. All work which used to be done by manual labor was replaced by machines, which became richer and poor became poorer. Payment was shifted from land kind to cash. This worsened the situation of the laborers. Instead of wages increasing, they decreased as there was so much demand for agricultural labor. Green revolution in arid areas. The crop shifted to multi-crop from new crops so that the profit was more. If the crop failed, the farmer had nothing to fall back. But after the revolution, it led to the suicide. Everything going for commercial purpose. Increased security of the farmers. It is divided into Andhra Pradesh, Andhra and Telangana. Andhra has two rivers. Land is fertile, landlord in Andhra Pradesh are very prosperous. Now, new class of people that has caused an entire pressure. Most of landowners who invest agriculture money into small factories, invest in machines. Pause again. Betterment of farmers' status. Due to better facility, the status and income of farmers has improved. Farmers are no longer landless or agricultural labor in most parts of India. They own some piece of land and work on it. Economic development. Due to modern scientific technique, farmers have been able to increase production and earn money by selling their crops in the market. This had led to better quality and quantity in agriculture, also an economic benefit for the country. Increased productivity and self-sufficiency. The green revolution led to increase in the per hectare yield most crops due to better techniques. Uneven distribution of income. Not all farmers have benefited in the same degree. The middle class peasantry have benefited the most. Some regions have not gained much due to green revolution, so they are still backward, like Eastern UP, Bihar, Bengal, Madhya Pradesh, Orissa, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh. Some regions have not. The advantage of green revolution was restricted to Punjab, Haryana, Kerala, coastal Andhra Pradesh, Western UP, parts of Tamil Nadu, parts of Gujarat. Rise of new classes. Many new classes have risen due to the green revolution. On seeing the increased profitability of agriculture, many people from different backgrounds invested in agriculture. This led to the rise of gentlemen farmers and capitalist farmers. New agriculture social setup. Earlier, only agrarian classes or kisan, maliks and mazdoor. But now there is a chain. Capitalist farmers. The businessmen also bought land and started doing agriculture because land became profitable. Now the traditional landlords have been abolished. The green revolution aimed at improvement of the less privileged marginal farmers. Pause it, huh? Green revolution was a government program of agriculture modernization. It was largely funded by international agencies that was based on providing high-yielding variety of seeds along with pesticides, fertilizers and other inputs to farmers. Green Revolution program was introduced in areas that had assumed irrigation facilities because of sufficient water was necessary for the new seeds and methods of cultivation. It also targeted the rice and wheat growing areas. Thus, as a result, only certain regions such as Punjab, Western UP, Western Andhra Pradesh, parts of Tamil Nadu received first, and Western UP received the first wave of Green Revolution. Agriculture productivity increased sharply because of the new technology. India was able to become self-sufficient in food grain production for the first time in few decades. Negative effect of green revolution. It was primarily the medium and large farmers who were able to benefit from new technology. This was because inputs were expensive and small and marginal farmers could not afford to spend as much as large farmers could. When agriculture are unable to produce for the market, it is called subsistence agriculture, and they are usually termed as peasants. Agriculturists are farmers who are able to produce surplus over and above the needs of the family are so linked to the market. It was the farmers who were able to produce a surplus for the market who were able to reap the most benefit from the green revolution and from commercialization of agriculture that followed. Since the well-to-do farmers were able to afford new technology and that's why they were able to gain much. Introduction of new machinery such as tillers, tractors, thresher, harvester led to displacement of service cars who used to carry out these agriculture-related activities. This further increased the pace of rural-urban migration. The ultimate outcome of green revolution was a process of differentiation. The rich grew richer and poor got poorer. Though the wages for agricultural workers increased in many areas because the demand for labor increased, rising prices and shift to cash payment, personal payment worsened the economic condition of most rural. Following the first phase of green revolution, the second phase is being introduced in arid and semi-arid areas in India. In these areas, there has been a shift from dry to wet cultivation, a zone with change in cropping pattern and time of crops grown. Increasing commercialization and dependence on the market has increased rather than reduced livelihood insecurity. As farmers who once grew food for consumption now depend on income. In market-oriented cultivation, especially where a single crop is grown, a fall in price or bad crop can spell financial ruin for farmers. In most green revolution areas, farmers have shifted from multi-crop regime, which allowed them to spread risk, to a monocrop regime, which means that there is nothing to fall back on any case of crop failure. No. Fall back. Now, an increase in the use of agricultural labor as cultivation became more intensive. A shift from payment in kind, grain to payment in cash. A loosening of traditional bonds of hereditary relationship between farmers or landowners and agricultural workers, known as bonded labor. The rise of a class of free-wage laborers. Now, the change in the nature of the relationship between landlords, who usually belong to the dominant caste, and agriculture workers, usually low caste, was a shift from patronage to exploitation. Such change took place in many areas where agriculture was becoming more commercialized. That is where crops were being grown primarily for sale in the market. The transformation in labor relation is an indicative of a transition to capitalist agriculture, because the capitalist mode of production is based on the separation of the workers from the means of production. In this case, land and the use free wage labor. In general, it is true that farmers in the more developed regions were becoming more oriented to the market. As the cultivation became more commercialized, these rural areas were also becoming integrated into the wider economy. This process increased the flow of money into village and expanding opportunities for business and employment. The state invested in the development of rural infrastructure such as irrigation facilities, roads, electricity, and on the provisions of agricultural inputs, including credits through banks and cooperatives. The overall outcome of the efforts at rural development was not only to transform the rural economy and agriculture, but also the agrarian structure and rural society itself. Okay.